Every wedding is a story, a carefully crafted narrative of love, hope, and new beginnings. But some stories are meant to be a warning. They say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, but they never tell you about the quiet fury of a man silenced. This is the story of Mark, a man who was about to marry the woman of his dreams, or so he thought. This is the story of what happens when the groom finally snaps. Mark and Sarah were the perfect couple. He, a reserved architect who found beauty in structure and order. She, a vibrant and passionate art curator with an eye for the exquisite. When Mark proposed, their future seemed as perfectly designed as one of his blueprints. But the moment the ring slid onto her finger, a subtle shift began. A tremor before the earthquake. The wedding, it seemed, was not to be a celebration of their union, but the coronation of a queen, and a queen can be a tyrant. It started small, as these things always do. The guest list, for instance. Mark's childhood friend, a man he considered a brother, vetoed. Why? Sarah declared his new girlfriend aesthetically unpleasing. Mark, wanting to keep the peace, relented. It was just one person after all. What's one friend in the grand tapestry of their perfect day? But the tapestry was beginning to unravel, thread by painful thread. Then came the budget. The carefully planned financial structure they had agreed upon was not just ignored, it was bulldozed. Mark would come home to find invoices for things he never knew existed. A dove release, though he was allergic to birds. Ice sculptures in the shape of swans for a summer wedding. Each purchase was a secret, a small betrayal he'd uncover only after the fact. When he tried to discuss it, to bring them back to the reality of their finances, he was met with a wall of tears and accusations. "Don't you want our day to be perfect?" she would cry. "Are you saying our vision isn't worth it?" He was no longer a partner in this union. He was the financier of a one-woman show. The silent victim in a drama he didn't audition for, and the pressure was mounting. He started losing sleep, finding it hard to focus at work. The wedding planning, which should have been a joyous collaboration, had become a second job, one where he was constantly failing his very demanding, very emotional boss. He was walking on eggshells in his own home, the place that was once his sanctuary. The term Bridezilla is often used humorously, a caricature of a demanding bride-to-be obsessed with perfection. But there's a darker side to it, a psychological aspect that can be truly destructive. For Mark, the humor had long faded, replaced by a gnawing dread. Sarah's demands escalated from extravagant to outright cruel. One story, shared on a wedding forum, mirrors Mark's experience. A bride, furious that her pregnant sister would ruin the aesthetic of the wedding photos, uninvited her from the bridal party. Sarah's cruelty was directed at her own bridesmaid, a friend she'd had since kindergarten. The sin, she had her hair cut in a style Sarah hadn't pre-approved. The punishment, a barrage of hateful texts and a public shaming on their wedding website. Mark witnessed this, a silent bystander to the casual cruelty his future wife was capable of. He saw a woman he no longer recognized. This wasn't the passionate, vibrant artist he had fallen in love with. This was a stranger, a cold, calculating woman who saw people as props for her perfect day. He found himself asking the same question every night, a silent scream in the quiet of his mind. What happens when the groom finally snaps? He was beginning to fear the answer. In every great suspense story, there's a point of no return. A moment where the protagonist, pushed to the brink, makes a choice that changes everything. For Mark, that moment wasn't a grand, dramatic explosion. It was a quiet, cold realization. A week before the wedding, Mark's mother was hospitalized with a sudden illness. It was serious. He called Sarah, his voice trembling, needing his partner, his future wife, to be his rock in this storm. Her response, a sigh of exasperation. "Mark, I'm in the middle of a tasting for the reception. Can this wait? I can't deal with this drama right now. We're so close to the big day." Drama, his mother's health, his fear, his pain, was just drama, an inconvenience to her meticulously planned schedule. In that moment, the illusion shattered. He saw the future with blinding, terrifying clarity, a lifetime of being silenced, a lifetime of his needs, his feelings, his family being secondary to her desires, a lifetime of being a supporting actor in the movie of her life. He didn't yell, he didn't argue, he simply said, "Okay, Sarah," and hung up the phone. A calm like the eye of a hurricane settled over him. The decision was made. What happens when the groom finally snaps? He was about to show her. The day of the wedding arrived, a perfect sunny day. The guests were seated. The music was playing. The only thing missing was the groom. Sarah, a vision in white, was a storm of fury and confusion. She called his phone again and again. Each call went to voicemail. Then, a single text message arrived on the phones of every single guest, every bridesmaid, and both families. It was from Mark. It contained a link to a password-protected website. The password, Perfect Day. On the website was a single .com and meticulously detailed letter from Mark. It laid out everything: the secret spending, the cruelty to their friends and family, the final heartless response to his mother's illness. He attached scans of the invoices, screenshots of the vicious text messages Sarah had sent her bridesmaid, and a final simple sentence: "I cannot marry a woman I do not respect, and I cannot respect a woman who has shown such little respect for me and for the people we are supposed to love. This is not a marriage. It is a production, and I am no longer willing to play my part." He had also included a link to a charity for a cause close to his mother's heart, suggesting that if the guests felt inclined, they could donate what they might have spent on a wedding gift. Mark didn't just snap. He dismantled the entire charade, piece by painful piece, with the same precision he used to design buildings. He didn't raise his voice. He simply told the truth. There was no screaming match at the altar, no public humiliation, just a quiet, dignified exit that was more devastating than any angry outburst. It serves as a chilling reminder. The pressure to create a perfect wedding can sometimes destroy the very foundation upon which a marriage should be built, and that the quietest person in the room is often the one you should listen to the most before they finally snap. Have you ever witnessed a Bridezilla or Groomzilla moment? Share your stories in the comments below. And if you found this story captivating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more Bridezilla nightmares.